if I'm getting a higher price for your property, like I'm more invested in that, because the thing is that guess what? I'm going to go around to all of these other houses and let them know that I've just increased the value over here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Hey guys, it's Zalunardo and Hussein Kabani from East Meets West podcast. Thank you for watching, and we're going to talk about today a few things guess regarding our week in real estate. We got a good topic on bankruptcy that's starting to happen now. We've always predicted in the last couple of years here. And then that's it. We'll talk a little bit of mindset, because I think this, with lack of sun right now, I'm like suffering pretty bad. So
need some sun.
Yeah, for sure. Look at this very dressed. Wow, look at this.
I know, man. You're making me look bad.
Maybe I should take off this jacket.
Yeah, you're making me look bad.
Is it too much?
Yeah, you're making me look bad, man. Take that thing
Let's
off.
take it off.
What's wrong with you?
Look like John Travolta with this thing all opened up.
No, man. It's actually a Wednesday that we don't have a snowstorm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sunshine, eh?
Yeah. Well, somewhat, but yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, buddy. So how was your week, man?
Week has been slow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got a couple of listings up. Like, we got another listing up, but things are moving, but like in that same range for me, anyways, out in Pickering. So our price points that are actually moving are between 5 and I'd say like 7, 5 and 7. They're
nice
actually
range.
moving.
Nice range, yeah.
And when they're moving pretty quickly. So today's Wednesday. On Friday, we ended up listing a property for $699. Last night sold conditionally.
Amazing.
So like, I mean, and pretty close to asking price. So that's moving very quickly. We had another one listed yesterday at $699. It's got a bunch of showings already on.
Yeah, it's a great range to be in, man.
We still have this one property that we started off about a month ago at like just under $1.2 million. Nice property. It's a little bit outdated. That's the feedback that we're getting on the property. We dropped the price $50,000, so we're like $1145 now, and we're getting more showings on the property, but no one's really pulled the trigger. So I'm still finding that resistance.
Finding it too, eh?
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
Yeah, finding that resistance. But like, you know, like those other, like the pre-construction condo townhouses we did at 540, like boom, 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 they were gone. Yeah. Like I said, I feel really bad. I should have actually bought one. Now in hindsight, like my client that ended up buying 2 of them, I was just like, hey, like, you know, if you want to drop off on one of these units, it's okay. Like, don't worry, don't stress yourself out. He's like, why are you saying this? I was like, well, you know, I kind of screwed up. Like, I should have bought one of these places. He's like, no. I'm holding on to both of them. I was like,
it's a nice development. I'd love to be the owner of that development.
Yeah, man, that's nice.
That's something I'd like to build.
Good builder.
Yeah.
And they're doing like what, 22, 27 townhouses, condo townhouses.
That's nice.
Yeah, nice little pocket.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those guys all move pretty quickly. But I'm really seeing this lower price point stuff moving. Anything that it's in the higher price point, it's gonna sit for a while.
And I'm finding that too. So I have those big listings up. I'm putting another listing up today. It should go live after we get the photos. So even like the $2.6 million property, I had a showing right away. In the first 2 days, I was like, wow. Usually I tell my clients like 3 a month, 2 month showings. That's it. But we got a good showing, and like naturally they're going to be fighting on price, right? So this is that battle we have to start facing. Because
so this was a big listing, sorry.
The big listing, okay. $2.6 million.
Perfect.
And so we'll see what happens with that. Naturally, it's a good property. I think even price in the market right now, with other luxury properties in Kleinberg, it's fairly priced for what you're getting, right?
Right.
But then again, you have to make the case. Like, we become like a lawyer in this, we're our defendant, and now we have to fight. Yeah. And then I have that list in there in Nobleton for 1.389, so like 1.4. Dude, they did an open house there. Like, we had like a flurry of showings. I couldn't believe how many. And then ultimately on Sunday, I did an open house. And then I pre-warned my clients, listen guys, if we get like 3 people in on Saturday, it's a victory. Yeah. Trust me. We had like 13.
That's amazing.
I had to double show it that night to a potential buyer, but again, nothing came out of it. Like, so like the buyers are debating now. They baited me to come back to the house. Right. Then they told me they had an agent later.
Oh.
But I live on one street over. I'm like, I can't be pissed because I'm helping my clients out. I'm really showing the property. Their agents couldn't have made it, right? Yeah. I didn't waste too much time. But
sometimes it's better too, right? Because you know the property better than their agent. So sometimes it's better for you to show
1,000%. Yeah. You know, maybe their realtor is going to be objective because they came to the open house and he didn't see the property or she didn't see the property prior. So they brought their parents, both set of parents.
Amazing.
And it was like this whole thing, and I brought him in, and it was good. You get along with I'm pretty straightforward and stuff like that. So yeah, everything goes so well, but I don't have any offer yet. It's Wednesday. So.
And when did it go up? A week ago?
That one's been up about 10 days now.
10 days.
Yeah, but it's gonna be long. Like I tell my clients, like we're pushing the boundaries now, price wise too. Yeah. And inventory's starting to pile, and we're getting slaughtered already.
And how did the other 2 properties do? Because there's 2 more that came up around it, right?
Yeah, so those ones are still staying.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're priced like one's 30,000 below, one's 20. Now there's another one going to be listed today. I just saw on
okay, so now inventory is really piling up.
The direct neighbor.
Oh,
We're
wow.
22. There's going to be 20 listed.
Come on.
And that's the Muskoka model, which is 3,500 square feet. I'm cringing to see what they're going to list it at. So
How big is yours?
Mine is 3,370 as per
Okay.
MPAC.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the that one's the Muskoka model. It's like everybody wants that model. And
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. I like my model better, but I mean everybody wants that one. So
Wow.
yeah, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, and that's it. That other listing today in Bolton, 839 on a ravine, 30-foot lot. We'll see what happens with that. I think that we're priced aggressively too. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Is that the one going up today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
one seems like it'll probably move.
I hope so.
Yeah, that one seems like it'll move.
Yeah, I know it's good.
Your price points are a little bit different up here than mine, so I mean, it seems like that's a good value for what it is.
We're pushing the boundaries. Like the last 30-footer just sold conditional at $779, but that's on a main street, no ravine, no walkout.
$779.
Yeah.
And you're $839.
$839 ravine, walkout, finished basement, fully renovated main floor. Like this guy spent a fortune on the kitchen and everything, right? High polished porcelain. Hand scraped hardwood, like the stuff that we all want in today's houses, right?
So, like as long as, like what you said, as long as you're somewhat close and you can kind of fight it, you know, not fight it, but like at least you can bring forward a case. Like
100%.
We have this one townhouse that's listed. Like they're friends of mine, so we have this one townhouse listed. It's at $799. Honestly, we don't have a leg to stand on at this price. Like honestly,
why do we get ourselves at this?
Sometimes, you know, I stand back at it.
We want to do the best for our clients, right?
We do, but then, you know, sometimes we want to do the best, but we end up actually hurting ourselves and them at the same time. To a certain point, I'd rather just been like, hey, like, I don't think this is good. Like, maybe, you know, we want to do something. Like, look, at the end of the day, what ended up happening is that we got I told them I wouldn't want to list a property higher than $750,000.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we got an offer at $720,000, and they wouldn't look at it.
Yeah, but the 750 was,
And I could have got this guy up to there. You know what I mean? But it's like they want to counter back like at $795, and it's just like there's nothing I can tell this guy. Like
$720,000 over asking?
No, so there's one. Yeah, we listed at $799. Yeah, $799,888, and then we ended up getting an offer in at $720. And my thing was we shouldn't list higher than $750.
Sure.
Because I can't even really support the $750 comp. Like I can't support it.
Yeah.
But I said like don't list it higher than this number. So we went $50,000 higher than my listed price, and someone came in at $720. And when this guy came in at $720, I'm like, dude, if we lock this guy up $740, $740 somewhere in that range, like we're laughing.
Absolutely.
Like we should take it and run. Don't even want to counter. $795. The guy is just they didn't even want to DocuSign it at that point. So it's just like I called the agent. I told him like, look, like I'll send it back to you tomorrow. I know it'll be expired, but I'll send it back to you tomorrow, and it's gonna be $795. He's like, don't bother.
They went up on the actual.
So $799.
Oh, $799.
Yeah, $799. And then they want to come down to like $795. And the guy's like, don't bother.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know, it's tough, buddy. You know what I started doing now, like, and I always do it. It's like this is the range that I feel like it's gonna sell. We're gonna push the boundaries a year, and I literally write it on the actual listing presentation. Yeah. It's actually printed in the listing presentation, and I physically write it again. Like, these are my thoughts, guys. I'm not gonna, like, this is where it is. Yeah. This is where we want it. Like, we're gonna push it. Yeah. But this is reality. If you get something between here, lock it up. Yeah. And it's just. But the only thing is, I think everyone's got short-term memories, right? And they.
Well, it's good that you're writing it twice. Like, you got to print it in the agreement one time, and then. but you know what? I think that. I'm going to be a lot more cautious about what I'm listing because, and not to come across too cocky either, but it's just like, you know, I'm getting enough, we're getting enough business right now that sometimes when we take on these things, it kind of like hampers everything else that's going on that's positive. For sure. So like you throw one of these bad listings in the mix and it's just like, oh man, like everything seems to be going bad at that point, and you lose focus on what's going good.
1,000%, so it's like, because the conversation has changed. But I think even with when you do your follow-up with them, like with my clients, like, guys, this is what I said. I can repeat it every time. It sounds like a broken record, but that's where it is, guys. Yeah. Like we know we're aggressive. So like, don't look at it as a real price. If we land one, we land one. If not, you got to adjust. Yeah. And even that one of these properties now that I listed, I told them, like, this is, you know, I wrote it down physically. This is where we're at. In let's say 3 weeks to 4 weeks, I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Usually 10 to 12 days you adjust price. So let's give it a little longer because luxury property. we gotta drop it 30-40 grand, easy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be. You know what happens is if you drop it too late, you're still above the curve as the curve is falling. Because it's now. Look at this. If this Muskoka model gets listed in this Nobleton property, and it says say it gets listed at 1,329 or 1,299. We're like 80K above that.
Oh, you're gonna be slaughtered.
You can have as many curtains and rods and as many things as you have in the house, like nice dressed up houses, tastefully done. But again, customers are smart, right? They're looking at size, they're looking at value naturally.
Yeah.
And then like custom stuff like that, they can do it on their own. They're looking at what they're getting.
But custom stuff is always tricky, right? Because the thing is, it's called custom because it's
your taste.
Your taste. Yeah. So the thing is that you can have these nice curtains and rods and whatever else. I'll walk in and be like, wow, this is junk.
Yeah. It's totally taste.
No value.
I don't like gray. I like the
zero
like
value.
platinum or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But even like like even set up of the properties, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna make a difference. I went into one potential listing yesterday, and they have like the TV like jacked up like just under the ceiling because the kid like plays around with it and whatever else like that, and they have like all the walls patched up everywhere, and it's just like, dude, like. Obviously, when you're painting this, if I were you, I'd remove that TV or like bring it down. Or if I were you, I would just remove it completely off the wall, right? Like we're gonna sell this place, so remove it off the wall and like just leave it.
Sure.
So much hesitation. Do you know what I mean? It's just like I feel like my job is that to go in and obviously like help them negotiate the contract and everything else like that, but. Also that you're going to bring in valuable advice to them, right? So like as many properties that I have gone through or whatever else, we're still going to send in the stager to do a consultation, but it's like, we're pointing out things where it's going to be value add for the client, and sometimes it just gets ignored, and it's just like, you can't, like you're almost like sabotaging yourself in order to be able to sell your property at top dollar. You want top dollar, you want to list it really high, but then you also have the show behind it.
100%.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Pricing is going to become more and more of an issue right now.
I think we're starting to find it, right? Because everyone's like, we strategically priced them because of lack of inventory to get them sold, and we got lucky, or we did our job naturally on the first, let's say, 2 months now. Now we're in the last month of the first quarter. Ultimately, things are changing. Aggressive. So you're saying we had the photographer out. To the property in Bolton, and I was telling my clients, like, they're worried, like, I advise them out, like, sell first, then we're gonna buy, sell first, then we're gonna buy, sell first, then we're gonna buy. Like,
this is the
repeated like 10 times, and then sometimes they want to buy first. No, sell, then we're gonna buy. Like, you don't want no one to get hurt. Family, young kids and everything. This is how we got to do it. And then I made an example. She's worried about finding an actual property. She's like, well, I'm not sure if we're gonna find something. I go, watch this. I talked to the photographer. I said, in December, how many shoots were you guys doing? Like this, like November, December. She's like, we had 4 photographers doing 4 shoots a day. Okay, so from January, how are you doing? She was like very similar to December, like 5 photographers, 4 a day. I go, what about now? She goes, 8 photographers, 6 a day.
Wow.
So look at the inventory. So I told her, like, this is why we're selling now, because everyone started. We should have actually gone a week before, but ultimately get yours sold, and then we're gonna sit back. I said, we'll find you the best property. Trust me, I said.
Yeah. There's
done this so many times.
Yeah.
You've got to have faith in your realtor, especially if they're on your best interest, right? Like, we want to do the best for you. We want to have you as a client for life.
Yeah.
We're not going to screw up our relationship. Never.
Yeah.
We will take a bullet. That's this reality.
But see, sometimes even in that situation, what I do is, like, say like that townhouse that we have listed. I feel like we've listed it high at $799.
Yeah.
So what we did at the end of last year and at the beginning of this year is that we actually took them out and said, like, hey. Like, look at all these houses. Like, does this work for you? Yes. Does this work for you? Yes. Does this work for you? We went through this exercise so many times. I was like, okay, now sell your place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now sell your place. Like, at least you can see. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's inventory, the stuff that works in your price range, the criteria that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
There's inventory over there. Sell your place and then move forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, It doesn't make sense to do it the other way around. Because, like, look at what we are in now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look at what we are in now.
Absolutely.
Like, if they don't get that $795 or $780 or whatever they want for that property, they're not going to sell it, or they would feel like they're at a loss. What would you do at that time?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
I just have an honest conversation with them. That's the only thing. I like the our coaching scripts were like, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I should have never have done this. We've got a few things to think about right now. Either pull it off the market and sit tight, or we have to adjust this price to get this thing, because or get to reality. And I hate those conversations, right?
You know what? To a certain point, like this listing that I have right now at $799, like, we know it's priced high, and they also have the thought process of, hey, if we get what we want, then we'll sell it. So it's great. Like, you know, at that time, like how much more can you push at the same time? You're priced wrong.
Yeah.
It's you can do all the marketing in the world that you want to do, but it's, I mean, if you're priced wrong, then nothing's going to change that.
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's all, it's so price sensitive. Everything's so price sensitive.
And I feel like it's going to become more and more and more. I feel like we had this like lower inventory at the beginning of the year. Now inventory is going to naturally start to pick up and stuff like that. I think that there was a little bit of a buzz created because there was a shortage of inventory. I don't want to call it shortage, but low inventory.
Absolutely.
So I think that there was this buzz created. So maybe we might see some of those people with that rollover buzz still kind of thing as the inventory increases still.
Sure.
So I think maybe that even hype will kind of die down a little bit, and then you'll kind of see a little bit more of a normalized market where you'll see any of the houses sitting for like 30 days or 45 days. Like, you know, even my sweet spot that I talk about in terms of price at $500,000 to $700,000, like those properties, fine, we're selling them in a week, 10 days or something like that. But I think these guys will even sit for 30 days. Because I mean, if we have like, you know, 7 in that same block, just like what you're going to start to experience over there with that other house, you know what I mean? Like, how long are you going to sit there?
No, you're going to have to adjust price, and it's a price war at the end. And who's going to make it to an attractive price to get that buyer to land?
Yeah.
You can do so. I was having a conversation with a client last night, and you know, like these properties, like this, that $2.6 million property, like ultimately you're not going to have 1 million people come there. I said, but you got a good fisherman. I go, picture this as fishing. I said, my bait's out in the water.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna keep like.
Yeah.
Once we get a little bite, I go, leave it to me. I'll yank that thing out. I'll reel them in nice and calm and collectively and get this thing to secure. I said, but naturally we need the bite.
Yeah.
You know, and that's due to price. If you got the price is the bait.
and you know what? Like, I'm just thinking about what you even said earlier. It's like that curve, right? In pricing. So the thing is that if you're outside of that curve when you start to price and you don't adjust accordingly and on time, you're still going to be above that curve, and you're going to just continue to sit on the market because what's going to happen? There's going to be people that come onto the market, right? Like, so if you're listed at 1.4 and I see that you've been listed at 1.4 for 30 days, I'm like, okay, obviously this is not worth 1.4 because this guy's been sitting there. I might hit it at 1.3. Do you know what I mean? I might tell my client, let's hit him at 1.3. Like, let's go 100 grand under. We're going to look like the best buy. Let's go. And what are you going to end up settling for? Maybe 12.75. And then what do you look at? You know what I mean? Like, you're $125,000 overpriced. So I'd rather from that 1.4 just keep going until I get that bite. You know what I mean? Like what you were saying, every 10, 14 days, something like that, just like boom, boom, boom.
20, 30K, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
Reality is reality. You know, and we just gotta be realistic with it. You know, when I sold my property, I'm very hard on myself in a sense, like very critical. Like, so ultimately, like, if it's not selling, we gotta adjust. We gotta, you know, I was even gonna price it a lot lower than what I did. It's just one of those things, right? Because ultimately, like, you want to get this thing out of the, you know, what are you going to save? Like, even if you made 5,000, making 5,000 might lose 25,000.
Yeah, well,
you know,
look at that example I had with that guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, just a few weeks ago, we had an 840 offer. We're listed at 839.9, 840 offer, didn't take it, counter back at 850, and we had to end up taking 830 for the house. So the guy lost like 10 grand in 3 weeks. Like, that's insane. Like the deal we did last night. So I listed this guy's house at 699. We sold conditionally, and then he's like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, listen, man, if we wait a few days, can you get another 5 grand? Yeah, there's a chance that you can do that. Like, we've only been on the market like less than a week. Like, there is a chance. Showings are not that great. Like, we don't have that many showings right now. But like, is there a chance? Hell yeah, there's a chance. But how much are you willing to push it?
Yeah.
How much is that 5 grand worth versus your timeline?
You'll make it up on the purchase. Yeah. If that's in your mind saying this and that, you're going to make it on the purchase naturally, right? And we naturally we want to fight and get the top dollar for our clients, and then we want to, you know, get the best deal on the other end of that. Yeah. And that's where you find weakness in real estate agents in the market. Like, we're in a strong position because financially we're set. We don't have the commission breadth in the sense where we can kind of sit tight and refuse things. And ultimately with the purchases, you can kind of hunt and find realtor weaknesses and ultimately capitalize. I think that's the advantage.
But even from my business selfish perspective, it's just like, dude, if I'm getting a higher price for your property, like, I'm more invested in that, because the thing is that, guess what? I'm going to go around to all of these other houses and let them know that I've just increased the value over here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Like the Angus property, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, that was a really freaking good one, man. I hope you dropped some flyers there. That was really good. That was really good.
Nothing sold after that. It's the highest sold 2018.
And you beat the builder sales guy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You beat him too.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
We did.
But by a long shot. Like, I think by 25 grand at least. Oh, on a less featured home.
I think it all upgrades the next neighbor.
Oh my goodness, man. You just help them build up some equity right away.
Yeah. So that's good. They're happy too. Those are your clients, so they'll at least they're coming out with a few bucks, right?
Yeah. No, they're good. But
Very good, buddy. So that's real estate.
So you're reading up on a little bit of bankruptcy.
Yeah, fair enough. So just reading this morning. So bankruptcies are up 15% from like now, just last quarter, 2018.
From in a quarter.
Yeah. So naturally, this is what we predicted anyways, because it's the new construction, people that locked into new builds, and now they're closing, or they closed last year with private money, and or second mortgages and stuff like that. And you can't do it. It's unfathomable. Like, unless you're, I don't know, man. Like there's people out there that make so much money, but they're so leveraged, and it doesn't even make sense. Like I don't want to live in a $1 million home and then have $1 million mortgage. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It's just if you're not there at that point, you just don't do it, right? Like that's.
I agree with you.
Equity, right? At least 30 to 50% of equity if you get into those properties.
Especially big properties, man. Especially big properties, you want to go in with the comfort zone. Like you're talking about new construction. So there was a site in Whitby on Country Lane in Taunton. So this builder was building Heathwood homes. They were building houses over there, and I was just talking to a mortgage guy the other day, and he's just like, some of the appraisals on these properties are coming in at least $100,000 less.
Which site?
Which
site was it, or which area?
So it's in Whitby. In Whitby, so
big
Country
houses.
Lane. Even like they're not that, like they're detached double car garage homes. They probably sold them at like $850,000-900,000 at that time, but they're still coming in $100,000 less.
Wow.
So it's significant, man. You're talking 10-12%, under the money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you really have to come up with $100,000 to close that property.
Fair enough.
So it's a lot. It's a big gap.
This is why private money is getting lent out so much. Like I have my mortgage guy. He's got $100 million to lend. Imagine that, like private money.
But
that's
the thing is,
pretty good.
But that's good. But the thing is that also, like, I mean, like, I have a little bit of coin out there on private money too. But the thing is that, for me, maybe these guys are willing to take a higher risk. But like for me, like, I'm going to make sure that there's enough equity in this property in order to get your money back out. But I mean, if we're talking about properties that someone's purchased for $900,000, that's getting appraised at $800,000, and they're putting 20% down on this property. Like, are you going to touch it? I'm not.
No.
Yeah, they got to be putting down 35-40% for you to be able to touch it.
100%.
Yeah. So there's no way.
And I think that's even resales like that. Some realtors are going to put their like I had a property in New Kleinburg last year. Same idea. A realtor put their clients in a position where they shouldn't be able to get in the house, and it caused a whole bunch of crap at the end to close the property. It took us like 72 hours of hell. I'm telling you. And we ended up closing the property, but I had to intervene. I had to speak with the realtor, the buyers, the sellers, our lawyers, and their lawyers, and the private lender. It was like, and that was literally the brain of this thing. Like, not to
orchestrate it in a way that it can flow.
I'm telling you, dude, it took a lot out of I didn't have vacation after that. It was like, took so much out of me, right, for one deal. But that was because that buyer should have never have come to see that property.
Yeah.
Should have been in a townhouse.
Yeah.
Why did you know what happens? And I predicted it when we closed. 6 months later, listed. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
I saw, like, it's so involved with it. I actually saw they sent me the mortgage for the private lender. Like, I saw, like, what they were paying, how much they're borrowing, what the cost was, plus what their mortgage was.
Yeah.
We're talking like a little property like that, and you're looking at, holy shit, like $6,000 a month, like just with interest and principal, $6,500.
That's crazy.
On a little house,
that's crazy.
2,000 square foot
so
house.
Steve, but that's like almost like $100,000 of gross income to net out to just pay for that.
Yeah.
$90,000 to $100,000 gross income.
Doesn't make sense. That's why
gross income.
They had to resell in 6 months.
No, man, that doesn't make sense. So similar story like that. Like, so there's a new subdivision in Pickering called Seaton. There was a house that was sold, a detached double car garage home, maybe 4 to 6 months ago. It was sold at $880. And one of the neighbors there called me and was just like, oh, there's a coming soon sign over here. And it's the same house. I was like, what's going on? So I checked the listing, and it's like they just listed it for $930. Like, they've been there for like 2 months.
Yeah, they can't afford it.
They can't afford it.
With private.
They can't afford it anymore. But see, like, these are the things that are starting to come up. And I think that people just have to be cautious. I don't think that they should avoid doing the transaction as long as they are in a position where they can actually go in with equity. Do you know what I mean?
1,000%.
Yeah.
But you're a good agent, naturally. When you talk to your clients, you do all this. Like, hey, what's going on? What do you want to get into? You kind of feel, what's going on. If your client said to me, hey, listen, I got like 5-10% down. I want to buy this $900,000 property. Like, not the time.
No.
Just sit tight. You'll get there. But
one thing I've learned is this though, and some older broker told me this when I first started, and it's just like, you know what? The thing is that if you're a good agent, you're going to tell them. You're going to tell them once, twice, 3 times, and if they're like, I still want to do this, then have a nice day. Like, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I will tell everybody, like, hey, you don't want to over leverage yourself. Whatever you're buying, you want to be able to hold it for the long term.
1,000%.
So I mean, like the bankruptcy thing is good to be aware about, and you're going to start to see it naturally, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like I said, it should stop you from making a transition. Making a transition, because there could be some really good deals that you can still start to get.
1,000%. Listen, if you let's just give you like a small example. You're coming from a semi-detached. You got a family. 3 people in there. You need a detached property now. You need the room size.
Yeah,
like, naturally, it's more of a necessity rather than I want to move to whatever because they have a restaurant at the corner. Like like an unnecessary reason to move. But you need to move. This is your family's growing, or
it's not a want.
You change locations, job locations. You need to get to that area. It's okay. Like, and let's just say that house they have like 30, 40, 50, 60% equity in the property.
Done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make the move.
Yeah, you're trading apples with apples in the same market.
Yeah.
This is why I prefer resale than usale, to be honest with you, because you're trading in the same market. Like naturally, new properties are amazing to purchase when there's an upswing.
Sure.
But now it's just there's so much. You just gotta be careful, right? Like I'm a little bit risk averse in anything I do, right? Like people make a lot of money doing new construction, even in today's market, but I just wouldn't touch it, right? Resale, you're gonna close in 3 months. You can control it.
Yeah,
you know what's happening. It's like a day-to-day event.
Yeah, but even in new construction. So when I bought that townhouse at the end of 2015, right? Like, and I think I've mentioned it before. Like, I was trading properties like around the corner from there, very similar properties for like $400,000, and I bought this at $340. So you can kind of see the spread.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like you can see even those properties that like, and I really am upfront with all my clients and stuff like that. So I would have never pitched that other Altona property. That new construction property recently to my clients if I didn't believe that it was a good deal.
That's
I regret like missing out on it. And it's like $540,000, and then you just look around the corner, you're selling for like $580,000, $600,000. So if I can see the spread, I'm good.
That's fine. Yeah.
But if you can't, like, look at some of these new construction places. Like, I'm looking at in my area there, looking at detached double car garage homes for $1 million, and it's like, dude, around the corner is $850. Yeah. $900. Like, why would I even bother with this? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's where you know your stuff and you're going to do the right thing. Like, you bought well. That's naturally. They always say in real estate, you make money when you purchase.
Yeah, that's right. That's when you make money.
If you did a good deal when buying, you're going to make money when you sell. So it's when purchasing. So like, I think now, like, even I have clients that want to get into new construction. I'm like, just stay away from it, man. We can get you new product, things that people are like, giving up because they can't afford it. We're going to get a good deal on it, and it's a new property. No one's moved into it. And it's up. You know your neighbors.
Look, and you just saying that. Like, someone else was telling me, like, they have a deposit on a house. Like, I think it's like a $60,000 deposit on a house. They can't close it. They're just like, listen, you take this clause, like, you take this agreement, and you keep the $60,000, but you just take this this boom.
Oh, you want us to pass it on?
Just you even keep the $60,000.
Well, what's it?
I don't want it. I don't want it. If it was good, I would have scooped it up. In that same conversation.
It's already underwater.
I don't want
60
it.
doesn't.
You gotta throw in another 60. You throw in another 60, and I'll bail you out.
No, it's not good.
No, man. So, but there's gonna be good deals, and I think we're just gonna have to.
Yeah. I have a client too that's closing in Georgetown, and they bought a property through the builder in the height of the market, but just before the height. So they bought it for a good deal. Like, it's probably worth, let's say, $150K even in today's market, more than what they pay, so which is good. But they don't want to be in that area anymore, and because the builder pushed the tear around so far with the closing, they have an opportunity to get their deposit out. I'm like, you don't want to be in that area. What are you going to after, let's say, $150,000? You get in the market, you pay commissions, you deal with the closing, all the
HST, capital gain tax. Is it really worth it?
No, I'm like, just get your money, sell your current home, and move where you need to be. Like, that's a gift given to you. You can get your money back right now. I can see if the property is worth like 1,314, it's $200,000-300,000 over what you pay. In today's market, naturally you close and you go, right? But if it's $120,000,
but just imagine what the HST bill is going to be. It's going to be $30,000, $40,000 HST bill,
commission fees,
commission. See, you're looking at like $100,000 transaction.
You're coming out with like 23.
Yeah, what's the point, dude? No, it's a waste of time.
Get my money.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah. You keep the house. You don't need it.
Absolutely.
Good.
That's it, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. This was East Meets West podcast. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us. Be more than happy to help you guys.
For sure. Awesome, guys. Have an amazing day, and thanks for watching.
Take care, guys.
Ciao.
See ya.